Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today we are bringing you part 2 of the Lego Fortnite barn house build that we are doing here on the channel. And I mean, this is exciting. I mean, we're doing construction, we're adding pillars, we're adding foundation, we're adding support. We're trying to find a way to build a home in Lego Fortnite, and it's just an incredible, and it's so much fun, and it's so frustrating all at the same time. But that's what Lego Fortnite does, right? It hooks you in. You don't want to give up. You want to continue to try to do the best that you can. And as you can see, on part 1, the way we ended part 1, we ended with trying to do the enclosement, right? We finally added the side walls, the back wall, part of the top walls for the second flooring, and that was important, right? Because we needed to find what's the size of the house, what truly the last portion of this house is gonna be. Now, there's gonna be a lot of things involved in this little video. You're gonna see me going back and forth all the time. We're gonna be destroying many things that we already done once again, because as we learn, sometimes you're off by a little bit, you catch it later on, and this is the real struggle, right? So once again, if you're watching this, if you're following along, and this is something that you're interested in building something similar to this, right? Watch the video, watch the stuff. That way you know when to do, what not to do, especially because, the idea is the same, but sometimes we gotta destroy things 2 or 3 times just to get it aligning the right way. So if you watch this for the first time, you will catch it, and then you know what to skip, so then you can follow along. But okay, so one of the things that we're doing here is we're doing a little accent. We want to add a little accent in these gaps over here. So I decided to go with the brown. I was gonna go with the gray first to kind of match the windows up below that we have with a little bit of a gray, so we can do a little more contrast. Didn't like the way that's gonna look, so I went ahead and go with the dark brown once again. So we're using some of these pillars of the foundation, but as you can see, they're not lining up correctly, they're not falling correctly. So I'm trying to do my best to make this thing fall. And like always, when it comes to Lego Fortnite, and especially building in survival, sometimes you can't get in the right angle so you can get the best viewing the right way. And as you can see right here, now if you're building this in sandbox, it's a lot easier. You're flying, you can get closer, you can get underneath it, you can float and put, have that angle that you need to. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this in survival, because I know myself. If I go to sandbox and start playing sandbox, I will never come to survival. And I really wanted to try survival as much as I can, even though it takes time, to build in survival. I love playing with the community. I love that if people and members are getting so involved in Lego Fortnite and harvesting resources. Everybody got like their chores and all that. We have a good system going in this community, and I really love it. Even when we do it on live stream or in video, they appear, they come in, and it's such a great bonding moment with my community that I don't want to pass it up. This is truly amazing, and I really love playing Lego Fortnite with all of them. Okay, so as you can see, the wall there was a little off, so we went ahead and fixed it, and now there's this backdrop on the house, and I'm basing this on a real home. So, and one of the most difficult thing is when you're basing something on reality, and trying to really recreate it because you really like it. So you gotta do all these mismatch scenarios, and then how to make that mix match scenario look really good, right? Because that's also going to be part of the key, and that's what's something that's so important to do. So as you can see here, I do going to have to use a couple different pieces for the roof, for the corners, because we don't have that particular corner in this particular color, but that's okay. We're going to make it work the best that we can. But as you can see, I'm adding pieces of the roof here. I'm trying to find the right corners, and then this is also always going to be tricky when working with roof. I still trying to find the best way to work on roof, and what's the best scenario. How do you work this on the side, how you work on here, how you align it, because like I keep saying, and I know it's like a broken record, but the way to do the angles or viewing or counting is like right here, like trying to put it in the right spot and then match it on the other side is so hard. Sometimes you can't even tell if you're doing it right, if you're in the right sequence. So you gotta find little tricks yourself. This is gonna be a new tip of today. That's something that I'm learning is, we got all these little stunts that coming up. Sometimes if you pay attention, not maybe where you're landing, but maybe what you're seeing, and count those and see if you got the same count as in the other side, so you can kind of make it match and make it work. And that's what I'll try to do. And once I kind of figure that thing out, it does help me to count, and so we can have a better roofing experience. Now, once again, as you can see over here, we're trying to connect the roof. There was a little window back here on this particular build of the house that I'm looking at, and adding these little additions like this, they can become a little tricky. How to do it right, how to get it in the right place. Like I said, as you're watching this, I build this on the spot, so it's a lot of trial and error, and that'll be my thing. So if you're truly working really hard and building something in Lego, something very unique, something very special that is gonna be your own, it's gonna be your own thing, I would say truly do not give up on what you're truly trying to do. Sometimes you gotta do what I'm doing right here, is take it down, do it again, take it down, do it again, until you get it just right. If you don't start right the measurements, right, if you don't really have a clear way, and like this is not a blueprint, this is not something that I have instruction to do. I'm just looking at a picture of a real farmhouse, that I really like, and I'm trying to see if I can build it here in Lego, and that's why the roofing is so different, because it's not a normal roofing, it's very different. But it was fun. I will honestly say that this was a very fun adventure. This was a very fun project, because it's not just shows you that you can do a lot in Lego Fortnite, the journey of Lego Fortnite, that was going to be in the future, and what we can continue to create. But the ambition, whatever your goal is, even with the limited pieces that we have at this moment, you can really try to create something that's unique, that's your own, that's special. And I really enjoy that. So over here, I'm trying to frame the window that's supposed to be here. We're supposed to have this window that's gonna look over here, and I'm trying to see, can I make this work? Can I make this work with the roof? Will it work? Will it not work? Do I have enough space? Do I need to go higher? Do I need to go lower? And these are all a lot of questions that I continue to have. This is another one over here, like how to then close this area so it looks good. We need a wall, and we don't have like other type of beams, so you need to be a little more creative. And like you see, it's all about trial and error, and that's something that I'm always gonna keep saying, because I don't want you guys to feel like you need to get everything on the first try, because as you see in this video, you don't get it on the first try. Sometimes you're gonna need to move things around. Again, things are over here, it's not lining up again, so I'm like, okay, so maybe I need to go higher in a different way. Maybe we need to use another piece, maybe another type of corner. Maybe we can make this work if I go higher over here. Can we make this work now? Can this work any better than the other piece? Maybe I need foundation. Maybe I do need to raise this up a little bit higher, so then everything is a little higher, so everything can connect better, so everything can kind of piece. Because one of the things when you work on roofing, especially on something like this, that it's not normal roofing, it's not just connecting the pieces and that's it. You're doing different sequences, right? And everything needs to meet, but you want a true center. You want things to look proportional to equal size. So sometimes it's not just for the placement, but sometimes it's the height. How high do you need to start? Where's the right section of the height that the piece needs to start, so they can all connect? And all of that is gonna come, first of all, through experience. The more you build, the more you're gonna understand, so the faster you're gonna do. And even if you need to do a lot of trial and error, all of that, you're gonna become faster. So that's just a given, right? And then the other is trial and error. And I believe even the best ones will always have trial and error, because it's always a lot to do. So what I decided to do, my approach was, okay, let me build the front where this section supposed to be at, right? This little section here. So now, one of the things that I realized, that I was not gonna have enough room for the window. I was not gonna have the right piece. We don't have the right window. We just don't have a square window alone, and we just got windows with walls, and it was not gonna work. And I didn't want the roof, this back of the roof, to be so much higher than what it needed to be. I really wanted to look proportional to the picture that I'm looking at. So what I decided to do is not to put a window, and we're gonna just frame this section here, frame this backside. We're gonna add the foundation, as you see, and we're adding studs right over here, just so everything lines up better than what we had. And now we're building the outer wall first. Then we're gonna fill this with maybe a little bit of brick right over here, or with the log like we did right here. So we're gonna add this in right there, and that's gonna help. And by doing this is gonna give us the freedom now that we need to then work on the roofing leading towards the middle of the house. So instead of trying the approach that I was doing first, that it was going trying to meet everything in the middle and then work my way towards the outside of the house. I did the opposite. I went ahead and started building that wall first and then work my way backwards. And as you can see, it actually worked out better. Now, there's still, again, a lot more trial and error. There's a lot of situations when you're trying to do a roof like this, like what's gonna look good, what's not gonna look good. You know, can I make this work? Can I go on this angle? Can I go on this other angle? And there were some angles that this house that I'm looking at with the roofing that looks amazing, but I could not really do. So then we had to do a little compromises with other pieces, so to see if we can get the right look, right? I still wanted to keep the cabin look because this is what we're doing in the farm. I still wanted to keep the theme and keep the same roofing, keep the same brown tones that we have over here, and by really concentrating on the pieces that we have, then and using some compromising pieces like this gray one right here, just to make the pieces work, right? Then we started having something, right? And then once you get to that point that you really start like, oh, we're getting this together, we're adding this here, we're putting this over here, it really starts taking shape and you really start getting really excited, you know, about what you're building and what you're doing. So again, once again, we had to take all this down, take everything down. And because I noticed, and I don't know why I didn't catch it earlier, I noticed it when I was watching it now, but the roof wasn't aligning. It was one tad lower. So we needed to fix it, you know, break everything down, and now slowly rebuild all of this again, once again, and trying to add pieces. Now, this is something that it comes to the roofing. Things don't clip when it comes to the roof. You know, it just doesn't want to clip. As you can see right here, once you go to a certain point lower, and then it says that you're hitting an object. So that's a little bit of sad. So I had to do it. As you see, I kept that part higher. So what I did is match to the other side. Everything still looks good. It technically is a little higher than what it needed to be, but it's okay. It's okay, right? It's okay. We're gonna make it work. And I think this is some of the compromises that you may find yourself doing in Lego Fortnite as you creating your own builds, right? As long as it looks good from far away, as long as it looks good even close, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, nothing has to align 100%, because sometimes when you align things, they're not obvious. Sometimes you don't even can tell, you know. So if you're building something and you know, don't tell your friends, don't tell what happened. If they see it, they see it. If they say something that you can explain, but don't ruin the illusion, right? Because sometimes we are our worst critics, and we tell people right away, oh, you see that little section is offset, and then people will see it, and then they will always see it, and they will never forget it. So do yourself a favor, and you know, if you like me and you left a little thing higher, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just don't tell anybody unless they see it, and then you explain why it could not be done. You know, you got this is Lego Fortnite, you know, and some of the pieces, the way we're building, is not meant to be built like this, and sometimes they're not gonna connect, and we gotta improvise. So okay, so we're slowly getting one corner. So the great thing is, in a lot of times when you're duplicating something, or you know the other side's gonna be identical, the great thing is once you got one side done, it's just duplicating the other side and get it just right. So we're having the same scenario over here. As you can see, we need to put it a little higher, a little different, and now we're matching it. We fixed it, and now we got this roofing. The roofing is coming along nice. And when it comes to roof work, I would say be patient. Be patient. I know I already mentioned it, but truly be patient. You know, it'll come together. Your vision will come. It just takes time. All right. So we can see right here. Now we come to a point of the roof that we can't close it. We can't close it off. And I was like, oh no, we don't have the pieces. How am I close it? So over here, I was trying to do something. I'm like, okay, can I do something that it just extend the roof? Maybe it's overlapping. Maybe we can do something that goes up here. Maybe we can do maybe like a little lookout place. I don't know. I was trying to figure out something that I could do here to hide the fact that it wasn't connected. But as you can see, it was just going way too far out. Way too far. It was not. Look how much space I will have to cover. And I knew at some point I needed to add another window in the front over here, because we still gotta attempt that, because the front looks too plain without that. So it's like, you know what? No, this is not gonna work. So we're gonna take all this out. You know, but again, one of the reasons, like I keep mentioning, like one of the reasons that we leave this in here is so you guys can see, you know, and be mindful that a lot of it is going to be truly trial and error. New ideas as you get stuck, how to take your build to the next level, how to incorporate other other scenarios that you may need, as you can see right here. So basically what we did with the gray part, you know, it's just we just took a little bit of the front, and now we're adding a little bit on the front with the cabin, and then we're doing all these pieces here to hide the fact that not everything's supposed to be there and connected, you know. And that's what you gotta do. Sometimes you be creative. It's okay if pieces don't match sometimes, you know. The most important at the end is how the build looks at the end. You know, I think that's always gonna be one of the most important things. Is does this look okay? Does it look good? Does it make sense? Does it work? And as you can see, you know, I'm trying it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And don't be afraid to undo everything that you need to undo once again, so you can get the right vision, right? And enjoy it. I think the next big thing is to truly enjoy when you're playing Lego Fortnite. You know, don't put that stress on yourself. You know, if you need to build simple at the beginning, build simple. You know, I really wanted to do something a little more challenging. You know, part of my video series that I'm gonna try to create here is to truly not to use blueprints. Is to truly, every time I want to add a building or something into this village, I want to create it. I want to experience this building aspect of the game and try to be the best that I can be, and keep improving with each and every single time that we do something. And I think it will make it more special for me, and I enjoy it. I truly enjoy it. Even though it's frustrating, I truly do enjoy this process and doing what I need to do to make these things work. But okay, so let's get back to the roof. And as you can see, I'm already tweaking the roof once again, right? There's a specific way I want this roof to look. I want it to look like this picture. You know, there's height, there's elevation, there's different triangles that everything is connected to each other. And I'm trying to make that work in Lego Fortnite. So I'm just putting another piece over here. So I'm doing another section of the roof to see if this part of the roof makes sense, and see if we can make it look good with the rest of it. And again, you're gonna come to scenarios that you won't be able to connect. You know, like right here, at some point these pieces hit the roof, it won't let you keep going forward. So that's a little sad that it just doesn't detect that it's okay and clips it in. It's just saying no, you cannot place this here. So you gotta decide yourself if you're gonna be okay living with gaps like that or not. You know, at some point I think I did try to build maybe like a chimney or something over here, but it was not gonna look good either. It just didn't give you that right feeling, and now it's what's not gonna work. So we're gonna try something else. And as you can see, I keep building, I keep pushing, I keep raising things. You know, we're gonna add another foundation over here, so I can put the top over here, so we can have the last little pieces of the roof, so it can look a little bit better. You know, because that's part of it. You know, that little detail work, all those little extra pieces that we've been putting to hide the little extra brown on the top to make the roof feel complete. It's important. It's important to the build, you know, and we cannot forget about details like that. So here is when I was gonna try to see if I could do like a little chimney, a little tower, you know, fireplace. But the area was so big to hide and too square, and then I couldn't go down, and it was not gonna look good even on this direction, because now it's like you can see over here, I can't go any lower because it's detecting the roof, and it's not gonna work. It just wasn't, and I was a little disappointed that I could not make that work, because I thought that could be an easy fix. But the way the roofing mechanics, once again, it worked. It was not gonna do the job that I needed. And like always, you're always trying to improvise. You know, idea always will pop in your head. Don't be afraid to grab those ideas, run it. Even if you feel like it could be a waste of time, it's okay. It's always most important to try every idea that pops in your head than not to try. And then it's gonna be in your mind like, man, maybe this would look better if I would have done that. Too bad that I never tried it. And just try it. Just try it. I mean, it just only takes a moment of your time to try an idea that you have. And if it's a failure, then it's a failure, then it's okay. So now we gotta take all this down once again. This is always one of the process that is a little heartbreaking every single time nothing works out, but we know at the end it's gonna turn out good, right? I mean, that's the goal, and that's why we're working so hard. It's for that final look, of the product that you are building and working so hard to make it happen. Okay, so as you can see right here, I'm trying to find a way to place another piece of the roof. And I like here, you see this right here? I like what I did right here. I really I felt like this really complemented the roof. Now, this is not on the original picture. It's not like this in the original roof. You know, it's supposed to stick out a little bit more and be more towards the middle, but it's okay. I really like it once I get it here. And sometimes this section here, I don't know why, but sometimes it takes forever to really register something green. So I don't know if I'm just having bad luck at this particular moment, but it took a moment to really find the right place so we can lay out the next roofing piece. But I really like how this came out. I think it really does help more. Now, it's always good. I will always say, if you're playing survival, if you can truly have good storage area and very coordinated to know, so you know where to go and what to do, and where to get your supplies, it will make your build life so much easier, because all you need to do is, you need to go there and just grab the wood, so you know where the stuff are at. So if you're playing survival and you really haven't done a really good working area, then do yourself a favor and truly go and build yourself a good storage area. I'm still working those during the live stream. On the Lego Fortnite, we do stream this game also during the week, and you know, people come in, they do help, and we do all the type of builds, you know, also on live stream, so it's really fun. Okay, so as you can see, I was trying a couple other stuff, didn't work, so I took the gray out, I put the hardwood in. I really wanted that hardwood in there, so it's a little more camouflage, and as you can see, it's not bad. It's not bad. The roof is coming together. You know, the shaping of the house is coming together. There's still a lot of gaps. There's still a lot of stuff that we need to fix. It's like this right here. You know, it's like, okay, I got this part done, but now we need to fix all of this over here, and that's part of it. That's part of it. But I truly believe this is what makes Lego Fortnite fun. And if you like this aspect of building, and have like almost unlimited freedom, you know, to really put pieces the way you want to and click and work, then you're gonna love this process. You're truly gonna enjoy it. Now, I will say once again, you know, if you get to a point that you get a little frustrated, you know, take a break, come back to it, and then you feel much better. Okay, so now we're back inside the house. You know, there's a lot of stuff going over here. I'm looking at the way the roof is looking. I don't like that I see all this green over here. I'm trying to get inside here so I can see what I need to do better, so we can fill these gaps over here. And again, we're in survival mode, so you can't fly, you can't just get close, so you gotta be clever where to place the ladders so you can have the best visual points, so you can add the pieces that you need to. And that's something that we're doing here. So I couldn't do it from the outside, so I went inside the house, build a ladder, climb up, and here we are. And now I'm a lot closer and trying to have a better look at here. And now I'm trying to align this here and trying to get it as close as I can to the roof, that I don't have such a big gap. And it was hard. It's really hard to get these pieces going. And I know I'm gonna do better in the next build video, and we're gonna keep improving, we're gonna get better, but it is a lot of trial and error. It is trial and error. And now I'm doing a little like framework over here, and all this, it comes to a point, right? Like I noticed myself even watching this here, like, you know, I didn't need to do maybe all this extra detail work right here. Maybe I could have just done a roofing. Now I need to hide the gaps that you don't see it from the outside, but then maybe from the inside, I could have just done roofing just for the second floor and make this like an attic feel to it, and just keep it like that, and just kind of close it off and leave it nice and simple like that. So there's always things to learn, and I'm still learning a lot. And I also believe that you're learning a lot, even by watching this video, watching other people build, seeing the progression, seeing the way they react. I think that's always gonna be the best way, you know, to learn, is to either watch other people do it and learn from their mistakes, or when you're playing and you're learning from your own mistakes, right? And I learned so much here. So right now I'm making this little roof connection over here. I want this all to be one piece. Let's hide the fact that we can see anything up there, you know, and that's what we did. So now I need to break a couple pieces over here because they're not gonna align. So, and as you can see, I'm just trying to find the right place. So yeah, so everything that we just put in a little bit a while ago, we need to take it down. But this decision actually turned out better because everything looks a little more solid, and it's just gonna fit better the whole atmosphere and make a little bit of the inside of the house feel a little more finished. Now when it comes to the inside of the house, that was a long process, and we're gonna get there at some point in this video. And on part 3 is when we do some of the really, really detailed work, just a little bit more to make sure everything falls correctly. But I had to figure out. I don't know if the next time do I want to figure out the layout of the inside of the house and then we'll put walls around the house. I this time around when I built this one, as you can see, we started mainly concentrating on the outside, and then the inside. Some areas came out a little small than what you expect, so maybe the best approach later on, if you want to make sure that you have big rooms, big kitchen area, big living room, is maybe start working in the division inside the home, so then when you enclose the home, you know how big everything's gonna be. Okay, all right, so but we're not there yet, so let's keep talking on the outside. And as you can see, we are still working on the sections on the roof. We're trying to find the right studs so we can put on this direction, so we can have a little bit of this work over here. Now this part over here took me forever. I could not get anything to line up. I could not get anything to like. It just, everything was looking off. Nothing was falling the way I needed to fall, and that I'll be honest, I was a little frustrated. It just takes a moment to get it just right, but it wants to get it right because the roofing is already detecting that it's touching the roof, but it's like almost touching, not touching, but it's detecting that it's touching. So it has to be right. And I see, and it's gonna leave a gap. It's always gonna leave one little gap, and there's something about that little gap that makes it not pleasing to look at. I don't know what it was. I just kept dealing with it and didn't like it. So now I'm coming from underneath to see if I can hide that gap. And I think as soon as we started doing that, I'm like, you know what? I think that's actually gonna work, and it's gonna start looking a lot better. And we're gonna climb over here. We need to see what we see, and then add what we need to add. And let's see what happens. So right now, I'm trying new pieces real quick to see if we can make something work, because sometimes inspiration strikes and maybe you can use another piece, but none of this was gonna work. None of this was gonna do what I needed to do. But live and learn. That's what I say. There's always something going on when it comes to this type of builds and what kind of detail work we're gonna do. But here we are. We're adding this section here. Now we're in the roof. I think everything is looking a little bit better. It's matching a little bit better. So now we gotta add these other pieces over here, like how do I want this ending of the roof to look, and what kind of more detailed work that we need. And so I noticed that we still got another beam over here that we need to cover up. So that's what we're doing. We're adding all of this, and now slowly the roofing is coming together. Now I feel like we got a little bit of design. As you can tell, there's still a lot of tweaking to do. At one point, you're gonna notice that some sections are a little more off to the side than one to the other, so we do need to fix that. So that's gonna be a lot of more work again. But the structure and the idea and the concept, and this is when I'm starting to finally feel hopeful. I'm like, okay, we got something, because sometimes you spend a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time in one of these builds and then realize that you cannot use it at all. And not just in this game, in many other games that we do, right? It could be a decorating game, could be another crafting game, a builder's game. But at some point you realize that you have spent 3 hours for something that you can never use again. All right, so over here, I'm trying to now regroup this section over here. I'm trying to see, because I feel like it's a little off. And I don't know if I just need this to push it a little forward. So my mind's going in different direction because I'm trying to decide how better this is gonna look. Now I also wanted to do a little extended porch over here using these materials that we have over here. But again, I just could not make it work. I could not make the illusion happen. I didn't like that it didn't go out enough, and I wanted to be a lot longer. It's like we need almost a middle piece to attach to those sections. Like another little stud or something that matches the color and the frame, and that could make it work, so then you have bigger gaps. But the gap was a little small for what I wanted, so this idea that we're building here is gonna go away, and then we're just gonna keep it a little more simple and just keep it the archway. I really like the way the archway looks, so I think that gives you that really nice little neat little look that is, to me, is very special, because I really like it the way that frame is holding that room up in the air, and I think it's important, right? Okay, so all right, so we're gonna go on this side over here. Now on this side over here, I had this idea that I wanted to do a little extension an extension of the home that is tied into kind of like either a working area or like a stable, right? So if in the future we can get the cows and stuff like that, then this what I'm building here could actually work, right? It just needs a fence once we get there. That we don't have a fence just yet, but if we ever get a fence, then that's gonna work. That's gonna tie in together, and it's gonna work out great, and we can keep the animals in there. And as you can see, I'm making all these openings over here. Now everything is in the air, so we are definitely gonna have to add foundation, and a lot of foundation down here, just to make this work. And like I mentioned earlier, and especially on the first video, if you're working on something good, new, and you don't want to worry about the terrain, make sure that you put foundation in a big square area as much as you can, so that way you don't have to struggle in the future putting things down. Okay, so what you're seeing here, I'm using this particular framing, right? But it wasn't working. It's not attaching to the other side well. It's a little bit different height, so it's not gonna fit the purpose that I needed to. So I was trying to find, because I need to keep this frame the way I have it holding up that room. So I can't just not keep that, but I still don't want that little gap that you see right there. And that's, again, I'm being picky. If you're doing this and you like this particular frame and the way we're doing the items, then you can keep it. So what I decided to do, since these are supposed to be kind of like rooms anyway, right? Little stable rooms or little workshop areas or stuff like that. So what I decided is to use the same pillar over here with the archway and kind of put them side to side, back to back like this, and kind of connect it from the front to back, and so it can make it work. So, and I really like the way it was coming out now, and then we enclose this little area. We're gonna do a little room, we're gonna add a little roof on the top, and it actually, this came out really good. This is one of the most exciting parts that I really enjoy building. It gave me a little break from the home, because after working for so long on the home, on the walls, on the roof, I needed to do something different, and that also felt like a win. Like, yes, we got this, and this give you that little confidence and pump you up to the point that you're like, yes, we're doing really well, we're doing really good. But now that the other thing that we needed to do is, it's gonna be the ending wall, right? I really wanted this to feel like a little building, and not just open doorways in every single direction. So one of the things that we need to do is extend over here. We want to put steps that are going to lead us into each of these locations right here. Now I noticed that this, I didn't want this to be out here and be so close to this area. I want a little separation, and as you can see, we're gonna start adding steps over here. And I think these steps, either we stick with this one or we change it to another one. I can't remember which one we ended up using at the end, but some of the steps, as you can see, one of them wasn't aligning just right, and I needed to align just right, and it's trial and error. But I think the most important part that in this idea that I wanted to do here, I really wanted to make it really functional. I really wanted to be something that we can really use in the future, and have a way to put fencing, especially in the future. So if you need to keep the animals in, I really want to be able to put fence. So we left some gaps in the foundation in the front, so it had a match. Now I found these other stairs that I feel the stairs really match the aesthetic of the farm and the feel of it. It has that gray, and it also has that brown, and I think it complements everything so well. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm extending again this little balcony section, and this section I go back and forth. I could not make up my mind. Do I want this to attach around here or not? I was thinking that eventually I was going to take down that window and make it to a door, and maybe if you walk out there and you can get inside. But I kept going back and forth and trying to decide what was the best scenario for me, or the best idea that I could do. And I think I just kept it in a porch format, right? So instead of keeping what we have, so I'm now trying to do the little framing that we have over here. Now, something that I really wanted to take away, and this part was a little risky. Trust me, because you got something done. You got something done, but now we gotta redo a little bit of this work over here. And what happened is in my thinking, I wanted to have a little separation from the front of the wall of the home to the stable side workshop area right here, right? They were almost even to the same, and I really wanted to feel like you're there. There is some division from the front, like you have this little wall kind of cuts in, and then it leaves you there. And once I made up my mind that I really wanted to try that, again, like I always keep saying, you gotta try it out. Now, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work because after we got the doors situated, we got the columns that we want, everything's looking good between the room over there. You really needed to move things, and it's dangerous and it could be disappointing, and maybe you do all that work and doesn't look good. But I am glad that I did it. I did learn a lot, again, try new things, new way to approach. But the most important was that we tried it, and then I liked the way it was looking and came out, and it really gave it that touch. But also what that made happen is that we needed to extend the foundation of the porch more to the front as well, so we can have a little porch area in the future. So it's not just moving one thing. Once you decide to change something that's major in your build, there's gonna be a lot of other pieces that are connected to it that you need to keep moving along. Okay, so now what I'm trying to do here is decide what's kind of the ending, what's gonna be attaching. Do I want this? Do I want the normal pillars? Do I want any other color? Do I want just the cabin ending pieces? And what I decided to on is just to do columns, right? But not these white ones. This white one, I wanted to try to see if I could bring maybe again a little accent of color into this area, but it did not work. And eventually we're gonna take that down. We're gonna take all the gray out, and it's gonna be completely different. It's not gonna match. It was a little too much now, right? I do like, again, like I said it, I do like the accent of the window with the gray, with the black as a window, because all basically you see is the window. We hiding the rest in the inside. Now the inside of the house is a different story, so once we get there, we'll see what we can do and how it looks. But over here, as you can see, I added more windows. We're moving the pieces. Now we're moving everything to the front, and then the next thing to do is we need to extend the porch into the front so we can have a beautiful railway that we're gonna do eventually. Now, like I mentioned, this is part 2. Part 3 will have a lot more of the detail work that really bring this cabin together. Now, if you were here on the last live stream that we did, then you saw the cabin on the outside, right? And it looks really neat, and if you're curious and you only seen the build video process right now, and you have not, and you want to see it, then go to one of the latest Lego Fortnite live stream, and you should be able to see the cabin. If you're eager to see the final results, right, then you'll be able to see it on the stream right there. But if you just want to keep holding on and wait to the final video, that after this one there's going to be one more, then you can see it in that way too. So now one of the other things that I really enjoy to do a lot, and it's work on these little details over here, especially using the fences. It's such a great way to add a little detail, to bring things down into the build and look stunning. The fencing is really good. This fencing that I've been using around the farm area, man, the detail work is so good, and the color's so good, the way it shines is so good. All of it just works out beautifully all the time. Okay, so as you can see, I'm adding this little border right over here that we need, and again, when it comes to this type of borders, and again, with the fencing and all that, it's finding the right combination, how it's gonna look good. Sometimes, no matter what you do, I will tell you right now, the math does not work. So sometimes you either gotta extend the build, maybe have a gap, and maybe that gap between the fences, you hide it with something else. So you gotta start thinking a little more ahead of how you want to approach when it comes to the situation, because sometimes either you do a lot of math ahead of time, really graph it out and plan it out, but if you're building something spontaneous, looking at a picture and trying to build in Lego Fortnite, then definitely you can't count, because you don't know. You're trying to build shapes and directions and roofing and things looking one way and another that sometimes you not be able to do if you try to plan it out, because there's no way you can plan it out. Especially if you're truly trying to replicate something that you see in the real world. And it just takes time. Okay, all right, so we're taking things down again. As you can see, nothing is aligning, nothing is working. I'm not having the right spot, and you gotta find that combination that's gonna work. Or you may have to add one more square, because sometimes you're just off by one, and you either don't do what you were trying to do, or if you really want it and you want to keep that symmetry, you want to keep that true center, then sometimes you just gonna have to bite the bullet and hide the mistakes. And that's the best way. And truly, that's one of the best way to approach it. All right, so as you can see, slowly, finally the farmhouse is taking shape. It feels a little more real. It feels a little more home. It feels like it's coming together. Now what I did here, there was a gap. I just added another another piece of the the fence in, and just to hide the fact, and it's okay, right? See, nice and easy. If that's what you need to do, sometimes that's what you need to do, and then you can come back later and fix it. Or if you have a lot of people that notice, and then we'll fix it early, right? But we usually don't have that problem. Okay, so now we're making the wall in the back. I think this is going to be important because I want this to be a room, but we also need to make sure that this is gapping all the way around. And then we need to do a halfway roof on top of it so it can look really, really good, And you got to do what you got to do. Okay, so we adding the foundation, we adding the wall. Eventually, we're going to raise the wall a little bit higher because we need that to cover everything. At first, I almost decided to go half, so that way if eventually we get horses or anything else, their animals can actually look towards the back as well and not just the front. But it wasn't gonna work, and like always, when things don't work, things just don't work, and we just need to move off from it, right? And the picture that I'm looking at for this kind of little stable right here in the real world, they just have an open in the front, and it's completely sealed and shut from the back. So I went with that direction. It did make the build and the timing go a little bit faster and a little more fun, because you now I'm constantly more building than trying to figure things out. So now this is what I wanted to do with this roofing right over here. And to me, this was important, and it was tricky. It was so tricky because I need this roof to be high, and not go over the front, right? And I couldn't figure it out. And then we did found another roof piece that had the frame that we needed so it can actually land. So this was on me. It was on my fault that I wasn't paying attention on what kind of roof that I have. But as you can see, at first I placed it down, like, well, maybe if I place it down and raise it up, and maybe I can do it. But no, it was not gonna work. It was not gonna work. It was like for sure 100% not gonna work. The vision that I want, because you really want to have this little space that is important to have. And as you can see, I'm trying to still have not realized that I'm using the wrong piece of the roof. And trust me that you're gonna go through this as well. You think you have the right piece, you're trying to align everything, and then at some point you realize, oh my gosh, I don't have the right piece. Okay, but something in my math, at least in my mental math, as I'm looking and placing the pieces, I'm like, man, this is not gonna get together just right. It's not gonna align, it's not gonna fall in, and it's not gonna have the height that I need. So having the height is another important thing, especially when you're building. Sometimes having height makes things look a little better instead of a little wider. So the more height you can add to things, the less wide things will look. And that's also going to help scenarios like this roof right over here, that it needs to be higher, right? So it can look right and be a powerful statement of this building. And that's what we need to do. So what I tried to do is extend the foundation to see where everything landed, and see then if I put another one, I can go up. And as you can see, take out the old foundation, moving the new one, I added a new one over here, as you can see, and now trying it again. And now it's getting a little better. It is getting a little better, right? Like we're getting a little bit extra foundation and height, and we kind of getting the level that we need. All right, so now I'm seeing like I need to expand this again. So as you can see, we're adding a little more of the studs right over here, so we can get a little more separation, so we can try the roof one more time. And as you can see, now we're getting the height that I want. See, this is looking better, and now I'm trying to see how can I align this and make this happen. Now, as you can see, we got it right over here, but we have a gap. And the roof is too big. So once again, let's bring down the foundation, extend the platform, and now we gotta enclose this. And I still needed to say, if you remember earlier, I mentioned that the stable needed to have a back wall, complete back wall, and I also wanted a wall on the side. So that's something that we need to do right over here and work it. Now, once I found the right frame, as you can see, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm using the wrong I was using the wrong piece roofing the whole time. And now that I found the right one, and you see those little, now it has everything on it. It looks so good, and it gives you the little squares in the front. I was like, yes, this is the piece that I needed. This is what we needed. Now it's looking better. I love this. It looks great. It looks amazing, and it really brought me a lot of joy. It really brought me so much joy to see this come together. Okay, so now we're bringing again the support pillars. We're doing the framing one over here, and then we need to enclose this so we can have a different wall over here. So there's, an ending, right? And as you can see, I'm trying to see if I needed something on the side or not. But I really like this table. This table came out really good. Love the idea of this. I love the idea. I love the foundation. I love the size of it. Now by the end of this build, like anything else, if you're experiencing a lot of this in Lego Fortnite, we do experience at some point. We're gonna experience that high capacity that you gotta start being careful. And one thing that I noticed when you do elaborate builds like this in one location, in one particular center, because this is a grid system, it locks you out from a lot of the other areas in the grid. So be mindful. Be mindful when you're building something big. In one particular area that uses a lot of pieces, sometimes all those extra fillers that I'm doing, maybe I should not be doing that. So I don't use the build limit and just hide it in a different way, so it's not just as bad. I feel like in a way that's not the right move to do, but it's something that sometimes you need to think about to see if that's gonna be your new approach. Okay, all right, so we're walking, we got the stable, we made the wall on the side. That part is looking really great as well. So now we got an ending, and I like this. You see this? I just like this idea. I think it complements the house so well. It belongs together, and I really like it. Now you can see we have another major gap over here, and again, part of this part two of this build is we completed the roof. We completed the next section, the next expanded section of this home, because I really wanted to add this here. So that was important. Now there was another thing that this picture that I'm looking at of this real home that it has, and it has this walking around porch that I think is very unique to its own. One of the things that I couldn't do, that I would say early, is I don't have a door leading towards the porch like from the inside of the house, because the way everything came out over here and the way I need to do the elevation of the porch and all of that, it didn't give me the spacing that I truly needed, as you can see right here, because the way the ground goes up and we match it up over here. So I couldn't do the height because I needed the porch to feel like it had some height, so I couldn't put it just low to the ground. I wanted to look like an elevated porch, right? And we're gonna have these support beams as well underneath the deck. We're also gonna put it on from the roof, holding this major roof, holding it into the deck. So it's a nice composition that we're gonna create here very soon. But now what I'm trying to do is grab some measurements. So the way that I did the measurements, so I can get this turning right and get the right proper place and not have to undo a whole deck, noticing that it was off by a little bit. What I did, I used the platforms, and I put the platforms in different corners just so I can align this. Now the way that I got the stair, at first I thought the deck I was gonna have it this high, but eventually we did change it, and we managed to move it and not to be this high. It was too close to the roof, so we did manage to bring it down a little bit so it can feel a little bit better and matching more the aesthetic that I really wanted. But it's looking good, right? It's gonna look good, but we're gonna change this deck a lot, especially on part 3. We're gonna do some major detail work that really elevates this. Now let me see over here. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I did keep this. Maybe I did keep it, and maybe I didn't move it. I can't, or maybe I did move it when I went to, because I'm pretty sure I went from the brown and I went and added the gray. I think I went with stone, so I can't remember, and we'll see it very soon. If you like this idea and keeping it with the brown and more like a wooden deck, keep it. I really like what we did here. I think it really benefited the build, but like I said, for me, I was having way too much brown. That's not a bad thing. When you go to real cabins, everything is brown. The decking's brown, the house is brown, the windows are brown, everything's brown, right? But I do personally want a little more of contrast. So I like the height, I like what we had here, but I wasn't too in love with all the brown, and what I decided to do is change it to another color and piece. And I can't remember if that's gonna be on this video or it's gonna be on the next one, because I'm almost done recording every single part 3. It's just a final minor more little details and it's done. and it's completely done. Okay, so here is when I noticed that I wanted to add a little bit of support beams to the roof, to their attaching to the deck. It's more for aesthetic. It's not something that we needed, but I think it was gonna look good. So we're gonna pick a little bit more of the fancy ones. We're gonna do a little bit of more of the round ones. I believe is the one I ended up choosing. A little round pillar that comes down. I did try many things over here. As you can see, I was trying to do it with foundation over here and all of that, because I thought I was gonna have a little bit of more room, but no, again, the foundation was too big, too square. It just took over way too much, and did not enjoy that at all. It wasn't the right look for what we have. You know, those type of elements can look really good when you need it. Okay, so here we are. So we are actually taking all of this down now. So it may be on this video. Now we're having a major lightning storm. You don't see those as often, you know. I think this might be my 4th one now since I started playing Lego Fortnite, you know, but it's hardcore. It's hardcore, and here we are. We're still decorating. We're still building because we love this game too much to stop, right? Okay, so what I decided is like, okay, let me bring these pillars in. Okay, we're gonna bring these pillars in right over here. This will give me the layout where it's gonna end, you know, and where do we need to put the flooring, and that's gonna be the important part, right? And that's what we're doing right here. As you can see, we're adding the flooring around the pillars so everything can work correctly. Now I'm trying to really align it underneath it so we can have a good visual spot for it, and so then from there we can start expanding the deck. And as you can see, I'm trying to get it just right, and I think we finally did. And once we do it, see, we just add it. Now this decking, it is taking over a little of the window, but you know, you can think it more like a basement. You know, from this angle, like, oh look, it's a basement down there, and they can see a little bit out. And sometimes these are the compromises that you have to do, right? Unless you want to redo so much again and fix everything and have everything go high, and depending on your terrain. And that's why I recommend every time you build something big like this, unless you definitely gonna work with the terrain and you're okay with that, I would say build the biggest foundation that you can, and then once you don't need it, you can break away the pieces of the foundation that you're not gonna use. That way you don't have to do as much struggle as I did over here. So if you were following this along and you like the idea and you're tweaking it, you're making it your own, I would say truly make a big foundation. That way everything is just together, right? Just add it together. It looks really good. Okay, all right, so now as you can see, the deck is a little lower. It's a little lower, but it's not bad. I think what's gonna help this deck eventually is when we add the rail around the deck for all the safety, and that really stand out. And especially the one that we use, I think it was a really great choice. I think it really complements the whole farming area so well. And over here now I'm adding a couple more extra pillars because I think they look really good. It gave something to the home. It gave it this little shape, it gave it this little purpose, it gave it that little extra elegance by having these little pieces there, and I really enjoyed it. So now the other thing that we need to do is to cover the roofing. So this is another big thing, another big that you don't have to do. It does use a lot of pieces, so but if you want that little extra detail to look good, then it's something that you really want to do. But if you don't want to use as many pieces so you can keep building and do other things in other areas, then you don't need it. You don't need to enclose it. It's okay. It's just for you, right? It's just for you. We're just trying to create amazing building, amazing structure, amazing houses, or whatever else that we're gonna do next, you know. And as you can see, now it's closing together, but I do like the way it looks finished, right? Finish has a clean look. It just looks nice. It looks nice all the time. All right, so as you can see, we're adding more of the pieces over here, and it's fun trying to go around all this area, you know, especially because I had to explain it. It's just it just makes it feel more finished and more truly completed. And I don't know, it looks good. Let's just say that it just looks good. It looks more finished. It's not something that you need, but it looks good. Okay, all right, so the pillars are good. We got part of the roofing, we got the decking done, we're getting a lot of the roofing sections done, but slowly you're gonna start noticing that there's something off in the roof. Some places are not completely to the front, some places are still pushed to the back, and I wasn't sure about that until I reset the day. And that's something that some of those pieces that we're gonna be moving. You're gonna see that on part 3, those little final details. Now I'm adding this other piece over here just to see if I like the feel. It looked a little off. It didn't look like it belonged there, and I like the idea. The other idea that I tried to do is start to like add this to make it feel finished. It doesn't look good. I tried to add the other piece, but then it didn't make sense because why we have another roofing like that. So at the end, we just kind of leave it in that little empty gap, and what we do on part 3 is just kind of like frame it a little bit better and put a little extra cover up underneath, and then that really helped a lot in the final details of the build of this house that we're building. Okay, so what I noticed here is like, okay, do I want another pillar, another column? So that's what we're doing over here, adding just these little extra structures over here to see if we like it. Now this was sometimes a little harder debate. So people like the other colors, some people like the other one, some people like the square, some people like the round one. So as the different people that I talked to and showcase and all that, you know, we ended up sticking with the square one, and then we found another piece. Well, sorry, not the square one, the round one. And then we found another piece that actually complemented even better. So you'll see that very soon. Okay, as you can see, let me see. Maybe it's happening now. I can't remember. It's funny, you know, you record, you play, you do all of this, and then you're trying to remember what's when things are coming and what happened next. But I think adding this little section there, it added really good. So as you can see, we come over here. This is our little barn home over here, and it's really great for storage and all of that. It really gave that little extended look to the area for the farm, because this is what we're building here. It's a good sized farm, right, where we're going to be taking a lot of our resources that we need. So okay, so now here we are. We're adding some of the little extra elements again, a little detail work, and sometimes they align, sometimes they don't align. So all I can say is keep trying until you get it just right. And if you don't get it just right, it could be something that you're overseeing that is not working correctly. But as you can see, I'm putting that little work. But the sad part, that part of this is gonna have to be redone again, if I remember right. Yeah, because you see that little front top of the roof is a little more forward than what it needed to be. It's not equal to the bottom side. So this section, I think I do is the roof has to come off and then redo the roof and make it land correctly. So that's gonna be a lot of work coming up, but it's little details like that. Now it's details that sometimes you don't even have to do, right? I mean, let's be honest, it's just depending how picky you want to be. You know, I am a picky builder. I want things to look the best that I can, as realistic as I can, and that look good, right? And I do put a little more work on myself, but I don't mind it. I truly enjoy all the work that we do here in Lego Fortnite. But I like this idea of keep framing, and also using this framework really matches the barn area. It's matching the windmill area, so it seems like the people that are running this farm is all maybe one big happy family running all together. Maybe this was passed on through generations, you know, and it's just they keep fixing it, everything keeps looking good. Then maybe they add another room. Maybe that's why things are a little quirky, just like that. But you know, but I do like what the fences do sometimes when you do a little edging work around your buildings, or under the fence, or under the what you call it, the windows or the porch or everything like that. It really looks good. So now again, it's all math, and I was trying to land it. Nothing is landing, nothing is working, and the struggle gets real. You know, it's incredible how much sometimes we spend on one little fixed detail that needs to be done, needs to be dealt with. But that's the scenario that I'm on right now. You know, it's like, all right, let's make this land here. Where are you landing? Where are the pieces? What do you want to go? 3 3 2 2 2 2 2. You know, and sometimes I keep saying I wish we have one tile of everything that we have in the game, because you know, sometimes you're just off by one, and we wish we could just feel it or something, you know. Or when we're building, maybe we can just make it a little bit easier when we are attaching something to another thing. And just I don't know, it's just, you know, we just want things to work but it's okay. but it's completely okay. All right, so let's see what we got here. Again, we are structuring. I noticed that some of the pillars are a little crooked, not matching together, and that has to be, and it's with the reason of the way we got the dirt. One of them is landing a little lower than the other, and it just became a little too much. So I know that's another thing that we're gonna fix on the next one, on the next video that we do part 3. All right, so here we are. So another thing that I noticed here, I felt like the staircase was a little too close to this other, because this window does actually come off. We are going to do a little entrance right over here, so people can go in from the house and go into the porch real quickly. So I think that was a good idea, and as you can see, I'm extending the foundation now on this direction. I know I need to extend it also in the front, because we do want a nice, at least a good sized, decent porch. You know, a lot of farmhouses have that, and they just sit out there and they have a great time. So that's something that I really wanted to fix and really wanted to do, and I think we're managing, you know. And so we extended it over here. We put the ladder, the steps a little more closer, so we took part of the deck down so we can add this in, so the steps are a little past the doorway, right? And I think that works out really well. Now I was off over here and I couldn't figure it out why, and I think it's because part of the foundation, the ones that is going onto the dirt, it wasn't completely all the way to the end. So that was my mistake. I mean sometimes that happens, right? And we just gotta keep trying and trying, and I need to go one day and fix that, you know, that way we don't have this issue anymore. Okay, all right, so here we are. We adding the section over here. Now we gotta frame the steps, put them right here in the middle just to make it work. I want these steps to feel like they're coming into the doorway. I think that's gonna be important to me. I want the steps to frame the doorway, and then we want to decide if we still need to expand the porch even more, you know. And I think we add a little more to the front. I really want to have like a porch and then fence it in. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add again foundation going all the way down to the ground, so everything looks nice and good and everything is solid and it's holding together. And again, putting stuff underneath here, my goodness, so much work. Truly, it's so much work to clip this in. I can't wait until we get a button just so we can go side to side, something that we press, we go up, or down, like just that, just little by little, because it's gonna make the building process so much easier. Because sometimes you can't start from the ground up. Sometimes you're already up and you gotta work your way down, and then the lower you get, the harder it becomes. But look at this build, look at the area. I love the way things are coming out. We have the porch coming on here that is gonna look a lot better when it comes to part 3. We still need to work on the front window section that we haven't done on top of the roof. That kind of similar that we did in the back, but we need to do in the front, but more in the middle section. That's gonna be nice as well once we get to there. And I think I might be making the opening now. I may be doing this, give this a little bit of try once again. And right over here, and this is a section here. Trust me, when I did this, and I don't know if it's all gonna be here on this part 2, but it might be all in part 3. I will tell you, I noticed that we were off, and oh my goodness, that took forever to fix, because one side was just a little longer than the other side, and oh my goodness, talk about a little bit realization and being a little bit disappointed. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is no good. This is not good. But we did the work. We had to move a couple things again, couple roof pieces again, and just so we can make this little home a little more beautiful in every way possible that we can. But as you can see, I'm still trying to see if I can put the window attached. Maybe it could attach to the roof, but it wasn't working. It has to be out here. We need to put a foundation so we can put the wall, because for some reason I couldn't even put the wall on top of the studs. So it was not gonna work. It had to be on top foundation. But as you can see, the wall is clipping into the roof, so I couldn't use the big one that I wanted, that we can cover more of the spacing. So we had to use this the kind of more the little one. And now I'm trying to figure out, okay, can I put something in the side, because we're gonna have major gaps, right, as you can see. But again, here's the roofing scenario. So we take the roofing, we put that, then we gotta put a smaller roofing, and then you get a gap. And again, it's like truly doing a puzzle. My goodness, you think you got it, you think you got the right piece, and then you notice you're like, oh my gosh, that's the wrong piece in the wrong place. So where's the right piece, and where do I need to put it? And oh my gosh, and when you hit those revelations, it really shows you, and it makes you think how much we need to do, right? And when it comes to redoing or willing to redo some of these builds and structure just so everything can look correctly, not just for me but also for you guys. But here we are, we're still putting the window, trying to figure out what's gonna look good. Do I want to add this? Do I want to go a little forward? Where is the best spot for this window? And that's my concern right now, you know, is where do I need to put it? You know, is it gonna be 3 deep, 4 deep, come over here? But the problem is, if I go too deep, I'm hitting the roof. So it's like come on, I need to find a happy medium that I can connect all of this to. All right, so as you can see, we added the window once again. We got a little bit of foundation, and what I decided to do is we're gonna stick it out, because I think part of this build, you need to feel like we have a section again up here leading out into the viewing of the farm, and I think that's important, right? And once we get a center, and once we get the situation, and we will get it fixed. Okay, all right, let me rephrase that. Once we get to the center, you know, and we are going to get this right, you know, and it's gonna look good. We're gonna add the walls, we're gonna add the roof, and everything's gonna work together. But you know, it's gonna be trial and error, especially when you discover things like that. And it's a little I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I need to do this all over again, you know, and just moving pieces of the roof. And what ends up happening is we do end up having a little bit of gaps on the sides, right, on the side of this particular window. But that was the best way to approach it. It's not here yet, you cannot see it just yet, but at some point, either on this one or it's gonna be on the next video, on the final part of this build, is when it's showing all those little fixes that I believe might be on the next one. I think I'm working on the big blueprint, right? Okay, this is what we need, this is what we need, this is what we need to make the roof, this is how the roof is shaping up. Then we can work on all the final details together and get it all done. And as you can see, I'm putting the top over here, and that's when slowly I also started to notice, like, wait a minute, I'm not matching the top to the other tops are not matching the way this one was matching, and this one looks so good, and it looks like the right height, and I don't see any brown. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this all over again. And now it's gonna be up to you, truly, because you may like the little brown highlight, right? You may like that, you know. But I wasn't sure. Once I noticed, it was really bothering me, and I thought that it needed it. So I know I did a couple choices here and there. I don't know. I think some of them came all the way down. I think some of them stay up, you know. So we'll see that as we continue. I've been working on this so long and so many times that I don't know. But you can see how awful it does look. You see, it just doesn't look right. So we do definitely need to fix it, you know, because now that I noticed it and then you see it on the video, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's go ahead and fix this. We need to fix it. Also, this open gave me the opportunity that we need to do a wall as well for this little area of the farmhouse, right? We can't just have a big opening like that. So I was trying to put a wall, and that's gonna be the next project, just like putting the wall. But that means I need to move part of the roofs again. Maybe we need to push out a little bit more of this extended, and that's what I meant. And earlier in the video, I told you that some of these hanging rooms will need to actually move just a little bit again, and it all has to do because of this roofing situation, adding this little home, because sometimes they didn't come as center as I wanted to, and then to make it look center, sometimes it's just by doing the other pieces makes it a little bit easier. But as you can see, once again, you know, it's coming together, you know, and I think that's the most important part. The most important part that I'm gonna bring you to as we slowly getting close to the end of this video is you gotta work at it, you know. Don't give up, don't truly give up. If you're working on sandbox, a lot of these will be a lot easier as you're building it, you know. Still creating something unique, something different, that's not just always just clip, and have your own shape, make a little statement, make little rooms, make little scenarios happen. I think that's where Lego Fortnite is gonna be so different, because it's giving us that freedom and creativity to create the builds and the visions that we want. Sometimes you may create a house that is just for aesthetic and looks and nothing to live in the inside. And it's nice and cute and it's perfect, but in the inside, you can do nothing because it's just so small. And I think that's gonna be fine. I think that's what's gonna make this world in Lego Fortnite truly special, and everybody's gonna have a unique approach when it comes to building, decorating, making the town, making the houses, making anything that they start bringing in this game so we can do. It's just truly be patient, take your time, do not give up, and keep at it. As you can see, and one of the reasons, again, I will say it again, one of the reasons that we leave a lot of this in, and for now, so you guys can see, is all the trials and error that we need to go through, and ideas. Also, sometimes when we leave this stuff in, some people see parts of a build that we took down because it wasn't working, but it may inspire you to do that particular part that didn't work for my build but maybe works for you, and add it into your build. So it's always good because there's always, builds evolve, and there's a couple stages that this house was looking really good, and then we discovered that it was a little off. So and we knew what we wanted, that it's going to be more grand, more bigger, more special. So just do it. Just do what you need to do, and you're gonna be just fine. Okay, all right. So here we are. I'm working on the roofing again, so try to align. And as you can see, I noticed here, like, oh my gosh, why is this roof? One side is longer than the other, and oh my gosh, is those details like that really are not fun to discover. Because once you see it, it's so obvious, and you just need to really buckle down and get it fixing, and get it to fix, right? But we are definitely gonna get this fixed. We got a lot of the layout. We got the foundation, we got the main structure, we got the walls, we got the roof, we got the stable now, we got part of the porch done. All of that is all coming together to make this beautiful home a reality for me, for something that I'm seeing that is part of the real world, and it's truly exciting to make this happen. Many times, especially when I really wanted to do this build, and I was looking at it, like, can I really do this house? Can I do it with everything that we have? And the way the mechanics works in this game is, it's like, can I even make it to the end before I hit high complexity? But we did made it. The farm is still here. It's looking better than ever now. Now that it's like completely done, and you're gonna see that on the following video, because that's gonna be really good for you guys to see how everything turned out at the end. That those little extra details that really took this build to the next level. But guys, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I'll see you on the next one, part 3, coming up very soon. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.